Hello. Good morning. Getting all my liquids near me while I give liquids to Daphne. Good morning. It's finally time to share the story with you. I have my Nature's Pocket Yoni mug. Thank you, Lydia. I received this after she found out I was pregnant. This is the first time I'm like sitting down today to have anything. I had a clogged duct. I mean, it's still existing, but we're just gonna ignore it for now. It will loosen. I'm going to talk about postpartum in another video and just focus on Daphne's pregnancy and birth story today. So, if you have friends that are pregnant and are interested in home birth, feel free to at them, invite them to this chat. I know that that's one of the ways I prepared best for pregnancy was just hearing people's stories. Good morning. Hearing other people's stories and just like knowing what the fuck was actually up with birth and like not having any surprises. Although I did have one surprise, so we'll get to that. Okay, so welcome everyone. Grab your tea. I'm going to take my time with this. I'm going to try and relax. If Daphne happens to like peek her eyes open, I will give you all a hello, but I am trying to get her to fall asleep right now so that we can actually do this thing. I will start at the top, start with how we found out we were pregnant and talk about the pregnancy, talk about the home birth, and then this week I put some stickers up for questions, so I will answer those like flat out at the end. And if I didn't happen to weave them into the story somehow, let's get it rolling. How did I find out I was pregnant? So this is a story, and I think it's quite important to tell, is that Daphne's birth and pregnancy was not expected, and that was a completely new experience for me. So we were pretty sure that Rex would be the only kid, probably like 95% sure. We were just down with the ratio of parenting to children. Things were good. I was going out. He was going out. We were just living our lives. And Rex is amazing. And so he's 4 now. He just turned 4 after she was born. But mind you, I did have that 5% window, and I have a little girl on my vision board from 2020, and there's a little name Daphne on there. So because I'm in the manifestation world and I truly believe in that, I think that there was some unconscious and subconscious knowing that she would come, but it was still a surprise. So basically, condoms, and I think I have to tell the whole story because this could happen to anyone. Condoms are a main form of contraception since Rex was born, and they've been working well until they didn't. And it was just the perfect storm with I was ovulating and the condom fell off during the act, and that was that. I kind of had it, we knew like in the moment like that was a big whoops, and then 2 weeks passed. I'm living life. Mother's Day was Sunday. I enjoyed the boys, and then that Monday I was just feeling kind of weird, and no particular symptoms. I just had that feeling that something was up and I should check things out before I drank a beer. So Nate stopped at the store that night and we just had our normal supper, and then I took the test in the bathroom, of course, and could only exclaim, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, just truly in shock because this was not planned and I'm a planner. So I want to mention this part of the story because I think it played into how the rest of the pregnancy went and my mindset around the rest of the pregnancy, whereas Rex was completely planned. We were hoping, praying for him, trying. And they were 2 different experiences, and so much of pregnancy and birth is mindset because our bodies definitely know what to do most of the time. So it was a big feat for me to get around having another child. And of course, we're in the 21st century, women's bodies, women's choices. We can have these conversations, and Nate and I definitely did. But you know, there was that open window for a second child, and we just felt like this was it. Yeah, it was time. We're going to have another one. Let's do it one more time, which was kind of a bummer because we had gotten rid of all Rex's stuff. Like we were for sure almost not having another kid. So that was that. we were shocked. So it started the whole process of making decisions around the pregnancy again. And I had Rex at a birth center down in Inglewood the first time. It was amazing, a water birth. And so the first thing I did was Googled them to see what was up. And unfortunately, they closed. So that pretty much led me to home birth with the situation we were in. So it was May of 2020. COVID was doing its thing. And, you know, I was hearing stories about people, and, you know, I never really wanted a hospital birth ever anyway, but just the way that births were being handled and not having certain people in the room, all of that, I just didn't want to deal with that. I didn't want to be in the hospital. There is a birth center in Boulder, but I hadn't heard anything particularly great about it. And I'm the kind of person that I like a challenge, if you will. So I had my water birth midwife experience with Rex, and it went great. It was like so flawless, and I was healthy and all of that. And so it really gave me the confidence to think home birth, because the midwife really wasn't there for much of my birth with Rex. So I thought, what could the difference be? Of course, there's going to be a midwife at the home birth. That's what I chose. But it just wouldn't be so much different, except I wouldn't be in a particular facility. And with COVID happening, it just felt like the next natural step, kind of a challenge for my second child. And yeah, something that just would really work for our family, and especially in the time that we're in. So I chose Madison. She's amazing. She's a CPM. And I chose her because one of my friends, she birthed one of my friend's babies just in 2017, and I had seen her around the community and just liked her energy, and her website obviously explained more about her and how she really merges the practical and the science with the spirit and honoring the traditional divine feminine ways. So, oh, toddler's crying out there. He's having trouble. Okay. I'm going to let Dad deal with that. It's so distracting, but I wish I could help. All right, so I chose Madison. And the thing about pregnancy is you get this decision fatigue. You have so many choices to make. So I really just, from that point on, made the same decisions that I did with Rex, pretty much. So it was really great to have the midwife, because the appointments were really relaxed. I would go up to the mountains where her office was at the time, and we'd hang out outside and do the appointment, and it was just very relaxed. And that's the feeling that you really want to have during birth. It's so much about relaxation, so that set the tone for everything. And we had a lot of conversations about goals for the birth and what I wanted to see and experience, and comparing this time and last time and all of that. So some of my goals this time were, I was really curious about orgasmic birth, and I ended up reading a book about it, and I think it was helpful. I did not have an orgasmic birth. We'll get to that. But that was just something I wanted to read into and know that it was possible. So that was one thing. Of course, maintaining my mindfulness. Like I just mentioned, I think so much of pregnancy and birth is mindset. And so I had done hypnobabies the first time, and I had started that up again the second time. And because of the way that I experienced Daphne in my body, the way I carried her as the vessel for that was this huge connection to water. I didn't quite feel that with Rex, but with her, some reason I did. And so I wanted to have the birth tub there just in case. I didn't get to use it, but we had one at home just in case. So I also chose my same doula, Mia. She was amazing, and that was kind of the setup for that. So some differences between Rex's pregnancy and Daphne's pregnancy. Obviously, it's way different to have a child to chase around versus the first time being me. And so I was definitely more tired throughout the pregnancy, and I just slept a lot. I work for myself now, so that transition happened. You know, I was working at the pharmacy with Rex, so it was a little bit more intense, whereas at the beginning of this pregnancy, I was still working for Moon Mother, who I love, and Daphne, her energy really gave me this push to go for my business, like full-time, full force again. So I had the luxury of being at home with Rex, napping when I wanted to, all of that. I definitely experienced more anxiety this pregnancy, and I think that could have been so many things. One, COVID and just the energy around that. Two, that unexpected shock of her pregnancy, and just wrapping my mind around preparing my body and going through that portal again. You'd think I'd be more scared the first time, but I had no idea what to expect. So I had a lot more fear this time and was holding that. Plus I was having a home birth, which truly wasn't so different than my experience at the birth center, because midwives were caring for me there and they didn't have all the things that the hospital had for a reason. But just that whole mental state of having a home birth too, I think played into the anxiety. Plus I will mention closer when I talk about trimester 3, I experienced more processing of my sexual trauma. And so that was just a whole new experience as well. And I think that played into some of the anxiety. We definitely have a different connection. I could feel the difference between them in utero. I knew Rex was Rex when he was inside. I knew Daphne was Daphne before we had any anatomy scan or anything like that. And the 20-week anatomy scan was the only scan, ultrasound, that I had with either of them. So yeah, with her energy, I really felt this like boldness, this connection to water, like I mentioned. And now I lost my spot. I have notes, so I don't forget anything. Yeah, I had this confidence in myself that I never had before, and this ancestral exploration that we did. I really wanted to like tie up some loose ends with ancestral patterns, especially the maternal line, and we went there, we did that. I did some ceremonies and different things to keep up with that side of the healing, because I wanted to be prepared for her as much as I could be. I wanted to be the best mom that I could be. And it's weird to say, but I didn't quite have that with Rex. I don't know why, but I just felt more engaged as a mother with this pregnancy, like spiritually, mentally, and thinking about the future. Maybe it's this whole like age of Aquarius baby, but yeah. All right, so let's just talk about the trimesters quickly. Trimester 1, I had some nausea that I didn't have with Rex. Truly, I've had great pregnancies. Like, it's hard to even, I'm just giving you facts. I'm not trying to complain because I know people have it way more intense than I did. But I did have some more nausea than I had. No morning sickness, thank goodness. I never got sick like that. But just either aversions or cravings. It was out of control. I had to have chicken fries twice in 1 week. Then we had to get Taco Bell, which we have back at home in Minnesota, but there's not very many here in Colorado. So we drove like 30 minutes to get Taco Bell one night. It was outrageous. I did have some low iron starting at the beginning of the pregnancy, and I still couldn't quite get it up to like optimal, like great at the end, but that was just something that I experienced throughout. I took different supplements, tried different things. That was a good week, Liz. Like, chicken fries for life. I took some dandelion root. I tried some herbs. See, that was really great about Madison, is she would try the herbal route first, and so on and so forth. Being a pharmacist, I'm actually not that great at, like, it's hard to take things regularly. Like, I totally get that. And so I wasn't so up and up on my supplements. And also I was kind of freaked out for a while about the whole folate situation because I didn't plan for her, but here she is and she's fine. So I just wanted to have a testament to that. I took it as soon as I could. That was kind of it for trimester 1. Trimester 2 was that honeymoon situation. I wouldn't say it was honeymoon. I was still tired and, you know, feeling pregnant, but I was definitely feeling better. And it really did feel like things flipped, like right when it hit second trimester with the whole food situation. So I was grateful for that. And I have nothing to report there. I think that's actually, though, when the sexual assault thoughts, like kind of intrusive thoughts, hey Lacey, started coming up. And actually it's so timely that Lacey just popped on because I shared a bit on her podcast. It's not released yet, but a bit about the more shadow side of my birth experience and working through this sexual trauma at the same time that I was exploring orgasmic birth and just navigating how intertwined sex and birth are. So whenever that's out, if it comes out, I will share that with you. But that spooked me a little bit. I had done quite a bit of processing before that, but again, I just felt that Daphne was sort of here to evoke that in me and have me take a look at it in a different way. And so I did that, and my midwife was really great about support around that, offering support, and I don't know if that's something that providers always bring up, so it's something to consider. But oh, my poor Rexy. I hope he's going to be okay out there. So then trimester 3, heartburn, central. That was the worst part about this whole pregnancy. I just wanted it to be over. I love spicy food. It didn't even have to be a spicy food. I was just like miserable all the time with heartburn, morning, night, water, whatever. So the heartburn was intense. I actually didn't do anything about it. I never took Tums. I just like kept thinking it was going to go away, and it didn't. So that was exciting. But, you know, look at her. She has a lot of hair, so maybe that old wives' tale is true. And she's a girl. Who knows? But I felt really like much more squished with her than I did with Rex. She was 7'13" when she was born. Rex was 7'2" or 7'4", so it doesn't feel like it's that much of a difference, but she definitely stretched me in new ways. So I think I was running out of space there. That tiredness hit a new level with trimester 3, going to the bathroom, all normal pregnancy things. But I did have this weird like nerve hip pain when I would walk, which I tried to stay more active, yada yada. And here's the thing that happened with both pregnancies is my blood pressure rose at the end. At the birth center, they labeled me preeclampsia, and I actually didn't know that till I was looking at Rex's birth notes this time around. But I do remember feeling really panicked with Rex because they told me at my last appointment with Rex that if it didn't go down, I would have to birth at the hospital. And that was my first like, oh, birth, I can't control birth. Like, wow. But Madison was so amazing. My midwife this time, she was just closely monitored. She really, that's what I loved about having a midwife through this whole experience, is just how she approached things with every body being different and understanding that, you know, there are objective values for things. She always made sure that I was safe, and we did more monitoring towards the end with my liver function and the blood pressure and all of that. I ended up checking it daily at home. But it was never like, you're not going to have the birth you want. Let's keep trying different things. Let's just watch you very closely. So I really appreciated that about her. Okay, so let's talk about the birth, and then we'll get to questions. So Rex came at 38 weeks, which I loved, and I was secretly expecting and hoping for with her. But she came at 40 weeks. And so there was kind of that 2-week experience where I was like, she could be here any day. And like I just mentioned, I had gone full time with my biz, and so there was that part of the anxiety too of like, I'm in charge of my own stuff. Like, I got to prepare maternity leave. I got to make sure the business is running. So I was kind of in this limbo of like, I want to be on maternity leave. I'm going to start slowing down, which was tricky for me. And also, if she's not here yet, let me keep working. So there was this like split mind with all of that. But on week 30, okay, so the day before she was born, that evening, I was trying to do all the natural induction things. So I ate a couple dates. I really couldn't do the date thing. You have to eat like more than 2, but I ate 2. That's what I could handle at 7:30 at night. And I had, you know, my infusion. I was pounding that, the red raspberry leaf, the oat straw, the nettle infusion. I had an Epsom bath, which I was ordered to do like every night so that, you know, I would be calm and my blood pressure would go down and all of that. And after that bath, I told Nate, let's try sex, which was like off the table. Before, you know, the last couple weeks of pregnancy, even last trimester, things just get so difficult and you don't have the energy. There's always an excuse. So, but I was like, let's move this along. So that happened, which was great. because I felt some movement after that. Things definitely shifted. I was starting to feel some like irregular movements. I didn't experience too much Braxton Hicks that I could like notice. So, but after this act, I felt different. I was just like, things are happening. I don't know when she's coming, but they're happening. So that was about 10 o'clock that I went to bed. And I woke up at 12 to go to the bathroom, like I do. And there were more irregular contractions, and it was just hard for me to get back to sleep. Some stool, that was normal for me the last time as well. And so I'm reading my notes here at 12:51, 12:50, I was having these like waves. They were quite irregular. I downloaded an app so I could track them, but nothing was consistent. At that point, I did call my my doula, Mia, because she lives up in the mountains. I'm here in the valley on flatland. My midwife is also about 45 minutes away. So anyway, I called my doula because she's one of my best friends also. And so I was like, things are happening. You want to come down? Because I knew it would take a while. Just come sleep on my couch. And she was like, yep, I'm on my way. Great. Because part of Rex's birth was quite fast, and she was scared that I wouldn't call her in time. So I wanted to give her plenty of time. So she headed down, and then I just let my midwife know as well, like things were just sort of happening. After I did that, I tried to go back to bed because they're like, rest, rest, rest. And I was like, I feel like I should clean and like prepare things for the midwife to eat, whatever. So I had a little moment of that, and then I was like, no, I'm going to rest. I know I'm going to be tired. That was like the worst, to feel tired during labor last time. So by that time, things were like contractions were 25 to 45 seconds long, 2 to 4 minutes apart. And I went to bed. I made myself a chocolate chip Eggo, and I tried to just chill. Of course, the moment I try to chill, Rex comes into our bedroom. It's not uncommon, but it doesn't usually happen at, 1 in the morning. But he did that, and he was tossing and turning, and I was like, dude, I gotta put you to bed. And I really started feeling this guilt of like, I can't even be my baby in these last few days with him. Like, I just don't need him near me. But there was this like tug of guilt with that. And so I tried to rest, and it was not working. And then about just half an hour later, Rex was in our room again. And that's when I had to wake up Nate, who sleeps through everything, mind you. He did not know any of this was really happening. I was like, you have to get up. Like, you have to hang out with Rex. I can't handle him anymore. I'm going there. I was definitely getting into that portal, which was wonderful. And so he went and handled Rexy, and Rex was amazing the whole birth. He just kind of played in his room and read some books and did different things. And things were heating up at that point. I was in the bedroom here, and I was on my birth ball just trying to manage, and Nate was conflicted because he wanted to go start filling up and setting up the birth tub, which is huge. And I was really feeling like I needed him, and I needed someone's support, but he was feeling that, again, conflict, and he knew how much I really wanted the tub. So he was like, I'm going to go set up the tub. So he started that, and I was feeling kind of bummed, but pretty much in a turn of events, in a turn of moments, Mia was here, my doula, and she was here to support and started with my back labor and talking me through things and all of that. So I was grateful for that. And, time gets wonky after that. I think I stopped taking notes then because who knows? Everything feels like 5 minutes and everything feels like an hour. So I ended up getting sick quite a few times, throwing up. That happened to me with Rex. I'm not sure if that happens with anyone else. But that Eggo came up. I can remember that. TMI maybe. And then when that moment happened that I was like, Nate, I can't handle this anymore, I also called my midwife to come because, again, she was 45 minutes away. I didn't want her to miss the birth. And so she was like, okay, thank you. I'll come. But before that, when I had called her, she had said, do you want to labor at home alone? Like, how are you doing? She really gave me this choice of like, do you want me to be there kind of thing, which I appreciate. How like sort of hands-off that midwives can be too if you just don't want that much intervention and interaction. So anyway, she was coming, and that was the end of my notes. But I had made my way to the bathroom, which is across the house, to go to the bathroom, and I got sick a couple more times, and I was just feeling like it was so intense, y'all. So, you know, I woke up at midnight. I don't know what time this was. I'm guessing like 3 or so, maybe 3:30. And when I was in the bathroom there, my midwife got there, was able to check my blood pressure. I don't think she checked my cervix at all. She just could tell by my sounds and different things, which midwives definitely can, where we were at. And they reassured me at that time that the reason it was all so intense was because Daphne would be here really soon. So I hung on to that. I will let you know that after that part, it totally transitioned. I would think I was in transition. It all intensified. They got me back to the bed. I started hanging out on the headboard, you know, moving my hips, doing different things. Mia would be doing counter pressure on my back. It was a very vocal birth, which with Rex, it was maybe silence. Like, it was so quiet in there. I didn't want anyone to talk. And with Daphne, it was very vocal, lots of swearing, which I don't know why. I'm thinking it's because I didn't do so much of the mindset work. I don't know, but my midwife definitely was able to redirect me from like swearing to like my affirmations that were posted all over, breathe baby down, that sort of thing. So that was an experience, but I had a feeling it would be quite vocal. I thought maybe it would be more sing-songy and like sweet, but it was just intense. So then the time came where Daphne was on her way to descend. Madison, I had asked it when we got back to the room if the tub was ready. They told me it was getting filled, but it was going to be a while. And at that moment, I knew I wasn't getting in the tub. Things were happening so quickly. So that was really sad for me, but also I just like clicked into a new gear of like, this is what's happening. Let's get you out. So the pushing started, I think, and because Madison was like, do you want Nate and Rex to be in here when she arrives? And I was like, yes, of course. So when she went to get them, I knew things were definitely happening. So that was exciting. And I started pushing, and I think I did one big push, and her head came out, and I tried to keep pushing, but it wasn't happening. And my midwife had told me, you don't have to push right now. You can wait until the next wave. And that kind of took me by surprise. Rex came out, it felt like, in just a swoop. I was in the water, mind you. Oh my God, I just remembered what it feels like in the Ring of Fire situation. But whatever. Ooh, okay, so her head was out. I waited for the next wave. They told me to put my leg up because I was kind of like I was on both knees. And she told me to put one leg up. And so I did that. And then her shoulders came out and the rest of her body came out. And she was here. And it was also wonderful. And that was 4:50 in the morning. So like 5-ish hours of labor. They tell you your second child will be faster. I didn't want to count on it, but I was pretty sure it would happen because Rex's birth was like 7 hours or something like that, 7 or 8. So quick babies. And now she's here and she was amazing. And it was so great to have her at home. They just stripped off the layer of bedding that we had. I was able to just stay in bed and hang out with her for a little bit, clean her up. I got cleaned up. They fed me. They hung out. All of the things, and we were just already at home, and so that was truly amazing. So that was most of the birth story. I'm sure I'm forgetting details. If there's anything you specifically want to know, feel free to use the question button. I'm going to answer a couple like questions that I got in the box this week to wrap that up, and if anything else comes up, I'll share with you. But the first question is, how did you choose her name? So her name is Daphne Pearl. She arrived on January 18th, which is my grandfather's birthday. He has passed, and we actually gave Rex his name for Rex's middle name, so he's really special to me. And I had a feeling that she would come on that day, but I didn't want to like jinx it. So that was super special. But we chose her name because it was the name we actually had picked out for Rex was Daphne, if he had been Daphne, but he wasn't. And Pearl is Nate's mother's middle name. We had already used a family name for Rex from my side, and so we just felt it was correct to use something on Nate's side. And Pearl's so beautiful. Daphne is the Greek goddess of springs and fresh water and that whole energy. And then we know that pearls are formed in water and of the moon and all of this. So it just felt really fitting. So yeah, that was that. I'm getting a question now. Was Rex also a home birth? He was not. He was at a birthing center birth, and unfortunately they closed in the last year or so before I had gotten pregnant, so I had to think of another option. It felt like a home birth. It felt like very relaxed, which was why I felt like I could do it with Daphne. Oh, are we like going over time here? Wow, it's already 11. Okay, I'll wrap this up. I don't know if it's gonna shut off for me or what. Would you do it again? Home birth? Would I change anything? I would definitely do it again. Home birth was great. It was so great not to go anywhere. And it felt really nifty with the birth center birth that we could just go home after a few hours and not have to deal with anything. So yeah, I would totally do home birth again. Madison was amazing. And I wasn't going to talk about postpartum on this call or this live because we're already wrapping here and that's its own thing. But postpartum has been really amazing with the midwife and the home birth experience as well. I wouldn't change anything. I wish that I would have been like more composed, and yes, I pooped. I pooped both times. I pooped much more with her. I don't know. It's just how it went. Along the lines of this healing experience, both during the pregnancy and in the birth with Daphne and ancestral lines, I am so into Oracle and Tarot, and so in my Epsom bath one night I had drawn 2 cards, one from my deck of course, because I felt I created this while Daphne was in utero. She's the one that was really like telling me like, get this done, mom, like you can do this. So I pulled from this, I pulled forgiveness, which was a big concept that I had been wrapping my mind around, both, with lineage and ancestors before me and with her. Bringing a child into the world is like, what are you doing? So I just wanted to be like held in this forgiven state. And then the other card I pulled was strength. And that was something that I just like tapped into throughout the birth of just how strong I was and inner strength and pulling that out. I wanted to share just a little bit about the orgasmic birth application. So basically, I feel like I was able to sort of lead into the birth portal with orgasmic birth because sex was involved in the induction. And that was like a really beautiful, like last sort of experience to have before these at least 6 weeks of no sex. And I did not achieve an orgasmic birth, not even close. I couldn't even fathom like pleasuring myself or anything like that. And Nate wasn't in the room. He was preparing the tub. So that wasn't part of the experience. But I did take away so much of what the orgasmic birth book talked about was the importance of relaxation and just like feeling good. And so that was sort of in the back of my mind the whole time. I felt much looser, if you will, with the contractions than I did with Rex's birth. I felt like I let the contractions happen and I tried to really relax and not tense up as much in other parts of my body while it was happening. At the same time, this birth felt like much more intense, much quicker, and again, so vocal, like screaming. But it happened how it had to happen. And then just a note about my toddler. He was home the whole time. He was really quiet. I really didn't hear him. He had been reading books when I was still part of this world, and I don't know if he was doing his following dad the whole time that I was birthing. And then when my midwife went and got them to see Daphne come out, he actually didn't step into the room. I think he was kind of like intimidated by the noises I was making, so he just stayed right outside the door, and Dad was just in the room. And yeah, I think Dad came in and like tried to encourage me and tell me I was doing a good job and just barely placed a hand on my back, and I was like, get away from me. which kind of happened last time too during transition. Like I had been really relying on my husband for like physical support to kind of hold me up in the tub and like brace myself on, but it didn't happen this time. And then, but towards the end of that birth too, I was like, don't breathe on me, don't talk to me, just give me your body. So yeah, I think that's everything that I have today. Thank you for being a part of this like therapeutic experience and me being able to share about Daphne. I knew that her birth would be intense because she's just very bold. I can already tell that she's like here to do things. So it was really awesome to experience with her, and she's been amazing. Okay, so she is sleeping, but I'll see if I can give you all a look since you hung out all this time. Her auntie made this amazing shirt. Hello, my name is Daphne. So that's that. Thank you, everyone. Hope you have a beautiful day, and you can always message me. I have shared Rex's birth story on podcast before. I can share where they're at, birth hour on my YouTube channel, on the Onus podcast. So I'm an open book. Again, if you have friends that are pregnant and interested, yeah, she's getting rolly, it's awesome, interested in home birth, feel free to send them this or send them my way. Okay, love ya, bye. Yoni power.